What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Rats Report. It is time to talk about the Toronto Raptors because they have made some big moves. And shout out to Blake Murphy for reporting this that the Toronto Raptors have waived Sasha Vezenkov and Javon Freeman Liberty. Now, Sasha was a player that a lot of fans had anticipated might go back to Europe, but Javon was a surprising player that the Raptors have waived. We will be discussing what this means for the Raptors moving forward. Is there a potential trade happening? Could they go out and sign other players? Maybe is Christian Koloko coming back? I will be discussing all of that in today's video. So if you're ready to watch this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you wish to hit the subscribe button as well, that would be very much appreciated. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, Sasha Vezenkov being waived should come as to no surprise to a lot of Raptors fans. There's been multiple reports, nothing actually confirmed what was going on with Sasha, but it seems like he was a player that if the Raptors had kept him, when the trade happened, I personally did think that he could be a good rotational player, given that he could shoot threes. He's also a forward, and also given that the Toronto Raptors have a European head coach and Darko Rajakovic. Now, Javon Freeman Liberty is a little bit surprising. That is not a player that I personally thought would be waived. I thought they'd maybe at least let him go to camp and work out there and then maybe see what happens. But considering the recent Raptors moves, I mean, they obviously invested heavily into Emmanuel Quickly. He's their starting guard, no doubt about that. But then they acquired Davion Mitchell, and then they drafted Jamal Shen. Now, obviously, there's only so much room for Javon Freeman Liberty to really get some minutes there and quality minutes. This was a player that I personally liked with the Raptors G League last season. He had some great moments. He seemed like he was doing great, and I was really excited about what he could do with the big club. But again, he did have his opportunities. He averaged about 7 points, 3 rebounds a game, and there were a lot of injuries, and there were definitely some golden opportunities for him to really showcase what he can do. And although he is still a really good, serviceable role player at the end of the bench, I think ultimately the fact that he couldn't hit his threes cost him his job with the Toronto Raptors, right? Particularly with a team like the Raptors that need 3-point shooting. And when you look at the NBA as a whole, being a guard and not being able to hit threes, it's just really difficult to proceed in the NBA with a career like that. Right now, I know it's kind of ironic. Jamal Shed is also a player that wasn't really known for his 3-point shooting, yet the Raptors drafted him. But it's almost like that Toy Story meme, when you find a new toy, you stop playing with the old one. I like Jamal. He's going to be 25 next season in October, I believe. Best of luck to him. And maybe this is a good opportunity for him to move to another team where he can get more minutes, right? The minutes weren't going to be there with the Raptors. And just considering how many guards they have now, I mean, Jacoby Walter is a guy they also drafted as well. Grady Dick is obviously going to be their starting shooting guard, most likely. So when you look at the 1 and 2 position, there weren't going to be enough minutes for him. But we also have some other details regarding roster spots and how much Sasha gave up leaving the Toronto Raptors. Now, shout out to Blake Murphy once again because he was reporting Vezenkov is leaving the entire $6.6 million on the table in the buyout per source. The Raptors pay $0. He has no cap hit any longer. Now, how important is this? $6.6 million is a ton. I guess the Raptors kind of played hardball with him because, like I said, Sasha, these reports we've been hearing for about a month where they said that he wants to go play in Europe. And the Raptors said, nope, you either give up all of your money or we're not letting you go. That's what seemed to be the case. And this is an absolute huge win for the Toronto Raptors because it gives them a lot of extra space. And then, as you see, the next tweet here by Blake Murphy, he also reported that excluding unlikely incentives for Quickly, Barrett, Pirtle, excuse me, not Polt, Pirtle, the Raptors have about $11 million in breathing room beneath the luxury tax now. They could use a good chunk of the mid-level or could just go minimum or just also minimum cap battle for final spot to keep the flexibility for in season. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this gives the Raptors very good options moving forward. Now, there's a few options I'd like to go through here. And the first one I'm going to dismiss, which a lot of fans may consider, is yes, there's some reasonable free agents out there. I don't realistically see the Raptors going in that direction and going out and signing someone like, I'm just using him as example, but you see Tyus Jones, I believe, was still out there last time I checked. So there's still some really high quality free agents still left. But I don't think the Raptors will go that route. Now let's talk about Bruce Brown. What this allows the Raptors to do. You got $11 million to work with. Now, again, it's not ideal, but what you can do is maybe have a little bit more salary coming back for Bruce Brown. Then all of a sudden, you're not pushed up against a luxury tax, which is a good thing for the Raptors, right? And again, if you are taking more salary back, then what Bruce Brown is already making more than 22, $23 million. You better have a first round pick attached to it. But again, it also just by opening up that roster spot, what this allows the Raptors to do is now all of a sudden you can do a 2-for-1 deal, right? Like I said, Bruce Brown makes a ton of money and you need that roster spot open. So if you're getting two players back that make about $10 million, $11 million each, now all of a sudden you can take that money back and trade it for Bruce Brown, which fills up your roster spot entirely. The second option here they also have, forget about Bruce Brown trade for a moment, is another type of trade they can do. This trade allows the Raptors to take some money back, similarly how they made that trade with Davion Mitchell, and we know how well, I mean, on paper at least, it looks great for the Raptors. It allows you to take back money. It also allows you to take back picks. So if you're trying to follow what I'm saying here, is essentially imagine if the Raptors were trying to give Chris Boucher up. Again, this is a situation for another team because the Raptors wouldn't necessarily attach a pick to get rid of Chris Boucher, considering he's an expiring deal. But let's say Chris Boucher still had about 3 years left on his 10, $11 million contract, or whatever he's making right now, and they want to get rid of it. Think of teams, think of contenders that want to get rid of contracts like that. So not only does it allow them to open up another roster spot, it also allows them to get under the luxury tax and maybe even perhaps go out and sign a cheap free agent, which might be more impactful than that guy they are trading for, right? So essentially, what this allows us a lot of teams to do is get rid of bad contracts. And if they're contenders, maybe open up a roster spot and sign someone for cheap, or simply to get under the luxury. And the Raptors have a big, big luxury here as well because they can take back someone that's making about $9 million. They can have maybe two first round picks, excuse me, two second round picks, maybe a heavily protected first round pick they can take back. You never know. Teams are desperate to get off salary. And if this was ever a season where teams are looking to shed salary, get rid of contracts, bad contracts, this is a season. So this allows the Raptors a lot of flexibility in that sense as well. But finally, we come to our final solution of the third option of what the Raptors can do with this final open roster spot. And yes, this is something a lot of hopeful Raptors fans have been hoping for, is Christian Koloko making a comeback with the Toronto Raptors. Apparently, there's some reports out there that his doctors have cleared him to play basketball, but he still has to be cleared by the NBA medical staff to see if he can play in the NBA as well. So that would be absolutely massive for the Toronto Raptors if they are able to bring back Christian Koloko. Could you imagine what this roster would absolutely look like? I'd be jumping up and down for someone like Christian Koloko. A very unfortunate situation. You know, if you're not a Raptors fan, if you don't know what happened, he had blood clots. They kind of tried to work through it, for 8, 9, 10 months, it seemed like, but then ultimately the Raptors waived him. They tried everything on their end. It just wasn't working out. He did have blood clots. So now that he has been cleared by his own medical doctors, we wait, I believe it's another week or two until the NBA has to test to see if he can actually play in the NBA, if it's safe for him to play in the NBA. But for a team like the Raptors, they really lack depth at the center position. I know they signed Ulrich Chomche. He's still a few years away, as much potential he has showed in the summer league. But just having a shot blocking big, Christian Koloko, you saw the impact that he had on the Raptors defense. He also showed some potential to be able to hit 3-point shots as well. So how nice would it be for the Raptors to have him, especially considering the roster they have right now. They need more shot blocking. They clearly need a defensive center, so that would be exciting for the Raptors if they are. But again, we'll see what happens. There are some interesting options and interesting routes that the Raptors could go regarding now their open roster spot, but also with the money they have, right? So that's a lot of money to spend for the Raptors. We'll see what happens, but I want to hear your thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you guys are still watching this, guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button as well. And that will be it for today's video. So thank you so much for watching. And I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.